Spiritual Teaching 188. Love each other. 1. Come, my beloved disciples. The Divine Master is here. You recognize me through the essence of my word, and I recognize you through your deeds. 2. My disciples will be recognized on earth by the purity of their deeds. When they come before my presence, after having fulfilled their mission, I will say to them, "You are truly my disciples because you have practiced what I have taught you." 3. Fight to achieve spirituality because it signifies the freedom of the spirit. Follow my laws, which are loving and perfect, and they will govern your life, because all spiritual and material things surrounding you are within my law. 4. Man, whom I created with perfection, should live with the divine love given to him by the Creator. 5. I am not asking you to disregard your obligations to the world, which are established for your preservation, satisfaction, and perfection, but you must learn to provide both the spirit and body what each needs. 6. Man had freedom from the beginning, and always his conscience has been with him. In spite of this, he has not listened to the voice of his inner judge. He has separated from the path of my law and has chosen to engage in destructive, bloody, and cruel wars. These wars have sons revolting against the fathers, for the children no longer feel mercy, charity, respect, and spirituality. 7. Man should now flee from destruction and wars, thus avoiding a painful restitution. He should be aware that if he does not purify himself by practicing deeds of love and kindness before coming to me, I will have to send him once again to this valley of blood and tears, because those who do not walk in the path of love and perfection will be unable to reach me. 8. How will this word reach humanity? It will reach humanity in the same way as in the past times, through my messengers, prophets, and disciples. 9. I am preparing you to spread my teachings and revelations throughout the world. 10. Although your brethren may ignore you today, tomorrow they will acknowledge you. The mission of my new apostles is to restore morality among humanity. This battle will be difficult. 11. Pray always so that you will remain strong. Practice my teachings in order to achieve spiritual perfection. Be alert, because negativity surrounds and tempts the spirit in many ways. 12. I will allow my word to descend upon your heart, as do the raindrops which give light. If you were able to understand all that I am telling you, you would see your path clearly. Upon your thoughts, I shed my peace and my light, because through this you also will be able to reach me. 13. Come listen to the teachings that the Divine Master gives to you in a spiritual language, a universal language of love that brings men closer to their divine Creator. 14. My word is as a new dawn of peace for your spirit, as a ray of light that illuminates your path. Many have heard this voice and now are beginning to understand its meaning and message. 15. I am manifesting myself to all of humanity, because now is the time when all the world will come to know spirituality, a time of spiritual fellowship. The Christ of love is manifesting himself to all of his children in order for them to reach their salvation. 16. Unlike you, there are many who are unfamiliar with my new teachings in this period, but who are seeking the same path that you pursue. They feel that the time has arrived for the spirit to be able to communicate with its celestial Father. In the second era, I informed you that the time would come when man would be able to communicate spiritually with the Father, thus receiving his wisdom through intuition and inspiration. In the second era, a Pharisee approached me and said, "If you are the Son of God, tell me what God is like. And if you were sent by the Father, tell me what the Father is like." I responded, "He who knows the Son knows the Father, because I have come from the Father." 17. I have always been with man, But to feel my presence, it is necessary for man to become more spiritualized. Once humanity awakens and begins to analyze my revelations, it will discover the meaning of life and the divine law that governs it. Man will then cease to suffer and to experience hardships, because he will begin to use his spiritual gifts and powers. 18. If the life of Jesus, the Nazarene, is known by everyone, it will serve as a path for all to follow, and thus none will be lost. For I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the structure of the world that you inhabit and the air that you breathe. I am the force that allows man to elevate to a superior life, so that he can perceive, comprehend, and be compassionate to those things that surround him. This earth is not only a valley of tears, it is also a place where one can temporarily experience happiness, peace, and satisfaction. 19. Know me, and you will know yourself. 20. Behold how humanity has journeyed through earth, purifying itself through suffering. Although I have always enlightened man as to his temporary life and immortality of his spirit, he has chosen to be distant from me. That is why I now speak to you in a spiritual language, utilizing human language so that you may comprehend me. 21. You are progressing and comprehending my teachings better, because when you analyze them and you are now seeking their essence, you are no longer perceiving or listening to them superficially in their material form. You no longer listen to the voice of the human spokesman, for my divine word vibrates throughout your heart and spirit. Behold another transfiguration of my divinity, for I, the divine word of the Father, have chosen to manifest myself through human spokesmen. This allows your limited mind to communicate with the infinite mind of the Father. 22. Your spirit feels honored to receive my grace, and it tells me, O Lord, you come to my heart as a true ore of love. 23. Truly I tell you, that if you comprehend my teachings and let them guide you daily, you will achieve spirituality. You will leave behind your vanity and needless pleasures to listen to the Divine Master. 24. Analyze all that I reveal to you. Behold how men of science are amazed at the perfection of the human body as they study it. If the human body, which lacks immortality, reveals such miraculous perfection, imagine the greatness of the spirit, whose nature is immortal. 25. You are astonished with the enormous oceans and your immense planet, but be aware that you possess more greatness than all the wonders of earth, for you possess a spirit that can transport itself beyond those places in a single second. Once the spirit becomes purifying and dwells in the kingdom of the Father, the universe with all its mansions will be revealed. 26. Whoever listens to me loses all fear of returning to his origin. Although he feels that he is just a single atom amidst all of creation, he will rejoice knowing that he is a child of the Divine Father. 27. When you depart from earth, you will be like a droplet of water, giving life to all of creation. I say to you that God, who is infinite and eternal, is present throughout creation. He is the essence that inspires everything. He perceives the beauty of his children and feels their joy. Everything that he has created praises, glorifies, and worships him. 28. His presence is found in all forms of life, because he is the creator of everything. If you analyze this carefully, you will realize that death does not exist. 29. This is my teaching for this day, a teaching that, like the other ones, needs to be written in the book that will be given to all future generations, the Third Testament. 30. Humanity will progress spiritually in this era. The period of seeking me through symbols has passed. A new era has now opened, but the path remains the same. I have not come to destroy your spiritual knowledge by disregarding past spiritual revelations, nor to confuse you with unfamiliar teachings. But I have come to continue with my previous teachings, thus giving you the third and final revelation. 31. In the second era, when Christ announced to mankind the arrival of the kingdom of God, I surprised those who were still practicing rituals and ceremonies. I told them that their desire to fulfill their traditions should not prevent them from fulfilling the divine law. With my teachings and my deeds of love, I came to abolish all useless rituals. Thus, my divine law would remain in their hearts. No one can ever say that Jesus rejected the law of Moses. For I taught you how to fulfill his law with my life, my deeds, and my blood. But I also brought you new teachings that were appropriate for that era and in accordance with your spiritual evolution. That was the second part of the great book of my wisdom. I also taught you a purer form of prayer, so you could develop a greater love toward God and your brethren. 32. You recognized my love in that era. I told you why I had come, and I informed you about the spiritual kingdom. I announced my second coming and told you about the new era. I prepared you so that in this era you would receive my new teachings, which is the third part of the Bible that has now been revealed to your spirit. 33. I have returned among humanity amidst rumors of war and other events and signs that forewarn mine arrival. Nevertheless, mankind is not aware of my presence. 34. In this corner of the world, amidst this humility and silence, I am manifesting myself through human spokesmen. I am summoning men and awakening them to a new life, helping them regenerate with my gentle and persuasive teaching. I am awakening their dormant spiritual gifts so that they will arise along their paths to imitate the divine master. 35. I say to you that in this era there is more religious fanaticism and idolatry than ever before. Today, your spirit is truly lacking in virtues. I ask you, after having listened to me for so many years through human spokesmen, who now feels that I have come to destroy his principles? Who feels confused or believes that his Christian faith has been destroyed? Truly I tell you that I have come to remind you of my previous teachings. For you have not only forgotten them, but also have not respected them. I have come to reveal things which your brethren have concealed from you. This is the era of spiritual freedom. Man will be able to choose the true path because he is now enlightened by his conscience. 36. My divine ray and my spiritual messengers have come to a world of darkness that originates from man's materialism and sins. 37. You have meditated during these moments and realized that you are truly worshiping the same God that you previously worshiped. Also, you realize that you need to continue to acknowledge Mary, the Virgin and Universal Mother. You observe that this doctrine has strengthened your faith and increased your knowledge about the immortal life of the Spirit. With my divine words, I have come to inscribe in your spirit the laws of the past that were given to you all. Love one another, and love others as you do yourself. 38. I have come to remove those things that are useless and that have prevented you from spiritually progressing. I have come to grant you spiritual freedom so you can always feel my presence. Rather than seeking answers from the world, you can spiritually ask your Father, and through his charity you will receive nourishment for your spirit. Thus, ask your brother for forgiveness when you offend him, and also ask the Lord, for it is the Lord whom you have truly offended. I will offer you my forgiveness, but you must also offer your forgiveness to the one who offends you. 39. Disciples. Since my manifestation during this period no longer astonishes you, then you should not be surprised that the spiritual world is also manifesting itself. 40. Since the beginning of the evolution of mankind, the Father promised that spiritual beings would manifest themselves to prove the existence of the spiritual world. Truly I tell you that, through my will, the spiritual world has always been in contact with mankind. In the beginning, I prohibited humanity to summon spirits, because it was not yet time. The incarnated and disincarnated beings were not ready for that communication. 41. Elijah is the forerunner of my arrival in this third era. I gave him the key to open the doors for the spiritual world of light. This allowed the beings from the spiritual world to communicate with the material world and humans to penetrate into the hereafter. Thus, there would be closeness, harmony, and charity with one another. 42. Before I signaled the start of that communication, there were individuals on earth who were disobedient, curious, and impatient, ignoring my orders. They initiated a type of communication not allowed by me, thus causing negativity and confusion. 43. My work is different. I brought this great teaching, which is very elevated, when I knew that you were prepared and ready to understand it. Thus, through the Spirit, you can learn to perceive, to question, to comprehend, and to discover the divine truth. Because I have opened this new horizon, I have taught you a law prohibiting an individual from glorifying himself through the use of his spiritual gifts. My law also does not permit utilizing your spiritual gifts for monetary profit or to harm someone. After analyzing my doctrine, some have felt fear and even confusion. Some feel frightened when hearing the word spirit, failing to remember that their creator is a spirit and that every human being is endowed with a spirit. Who created that fear? Who made you feel uncomfortable when one spoke of the spirit? Have you not considered that your material body, which you love so much, is only dust that will return to the soil, and that your spirit will live forever? What will you do when you are in that state? Will you try to run from yourself? 44. In order to help you in your mission, I grant you the necessary time to study my doctrine. I also send you spiritual servants, true angels of charity, light, and peace, to help you with your responsibilities and with your suffering. Have faith that this communication has occurred through divine inspiration. 45. Do not confuse this communication with others that men utilize using their own free will, for they have been inspired by science, curiosity, or by superstition. 46. If you will observe, you will discover that two types of manifestations have always existed among humanity. It began with the first humans who initially heard the voice of God signaling the path of light. They then heard another voice that encouraged disobedience and vanity. Since then, man has struggled with the forces of evil and good. Thus, when man first dwelt on earth, he intuitively knew of the divine law through his conscience and also experienced temptation. 47. I tell you this to strengthen your faith and to increase your knowledge. Do not disrespect my spiritual messengers, because if you could observe their grace, you would confess that not even Solomon, in the splendor of his throne, had the majesty of these spiritual servants. 48. Nations that now suffer and perish due to plagues and hunger would be so grateful if spiritual beings of peace and charity would present themselves there to teach love and comfort. 49. You have called the force that heals physical and moral ailments a healing balsam. Truly, that balsam does heal. Jesus used the same balsam to restore eyesight to the blind, movement to the paralytic, and speech to the mute. Also, he used it to heal those who had leprosy and to resurrect those who were dead. 50. No one arrives pure when they present themselves to me. If one did arrive pure, he would not become stained following this path. In this era, Elijah, by divine mandate, has come to open the doors of the hereafter for mankind. I will make humanity understand that this communication was a divine grace for men of this period from the Father. It is the communication that will precede the communication from spirit to spirit. This will occur after 1950, when I will no longer manifest myself through human spokesmen. 51. Prepare yourself so that after this period you will not be misled and confused, because I still have many teachings to reveal to you. It will not be your imagination creating false revelations or inspirations. The one who truly prepares himself will receive enlightenment from heaven so that he may speak with truth to his brethren. 52. The time is approaching when men will abandon their weapons, ambitions, and hatred in order to seek spiritual wisdom. Apostles will emerge from the multitudes, and people will listen to them, following their footsteps. This will occur when the battle of ideas, religions, and doctrines takes place. 53. That battle will be great. It will be worse than the battles of ambition and power, because there will not be peace in the human heart. Fanaticism and its darkness will confuse the human mind. The voice of a conscience and of reason will be ignored. Fanaticism will spread and acquire strength, and great and magnificent temples will be built. Some will weaken embracing their idol, but others will open their eyes to the light and will be rescued from that abyss. 54. These prophecies now appear to be in the distant future. However, they will soon be fulfilled. Men will see their idols tumbling from their pedestals, including those false gods and great temples which have been the pride and vanity of religions. But it will not be you who will publicly denounce those who have deceived their brethren. There will be others with that mission. You will be prepared with my word, with your heart, and with your mind, enabling your spirit to work with true love for the salvation of humanity. 55. You will not flee when the storm arrives, nor will you seek a hiding place. Instead, you will remain serene amidst that hurricane. You will observe men awakening from their deep sleep to compare religions. Once they realize that all religions contain human imperfection, they will ask, "What is spiritualism?" It is then that my messengers and apostles, without boasting and being deceitful, will reveal the purity, simplicity, and light of this doctrine. The world will then know that it is the true path. 56. There will be great battles, and you will be persecuted and slandered. You will find contradictions everywhere. You will listen to great and convincing arguments, but do not allow yourself to be impressed by the words of man, which are meaningless unless they are supported by deeds of love. 57. If you trust me and prepare yourself, you will not be alone. I will be with you. I will speak through your lips, and you will be consciously aware of the deeds that I perform through you. 58. Man will begin to have a premonition of the true path, and he will begin to seek me with his spirit. I have waited for him to seek me in that manner. Every individual who realizes that he carries the Father within his own heart will immediately cease being an enemy to his brethren. Forgiveness, reconciliation, charity, and brotherhood will then emerge. 59. Man will then be able to say that he has seen Jesus, who is descended from the cross to say to the world, "The blood that I shed for your salvation has ceased to flow, and I will be with you forever." 60. My people, I welcome the righteous and the wicked to my new manifestation. I have welcomed all individuals, including those who love me and those who reject me, because they are all my children. I love all of them equally. All will eventually love me and serve me. 61. Today, I have come to unite everyone, because the blood that I shed in the second era was not sufficient. You were unwilling to practice deeds of brotherhood and love as taught by my doctrine. 62. When will you realize that only by fulfilling my law will you be able to find health, happiness, and life? You acknowledge that in the material life there are principles that one needs to follow in order to survive. However, you have forgotten that there are also important spiritual principles that need to be respected so that one may enjoy eternal life in the divine kingdom. 63. Those who are materialistic, proud, stubborn, and skeptical will have to listen to me in this era. Once again, I will sow a seed in their hearts until flowers sprout from those hardened hearts. Up to now their hearts have been like sterile soil for my seeds of enlightenment. 64. I will pour water from my divine fountain upon all spirits until they become purifying. But that water will no longer be from the Jordan River. Today, all spirits will be bathed with the light from my grace and justice, which will serve to awaken them. This will enable them to listen to the voice of their conscience, which will guide them to prayer, repentance, and regeneration. 65. Today I am fulfilling the promise that I made in the second era. I previously told you that an era of peace and spirituality would arrive. You are now living in the era where traditions, rituals, ceremonies, symbols, and man-made images will disappear. Your spirit will be liberated from prejudice, fanaticism, and idolatry. You can then offer God a true worship. 66. When these teachings reach those who are materialistic, they will laugh with skepticism at my doctrine and prophecies. However, man's skepticism has never hurt me. 67. In the second era, when the good news of my teaching reached the great cities and the great empires, such as Rome, men were also skeptical when they found out that Jesus was a poor Galilean, followed by a few poor and humble fishermen. Their ridicule did not hurt me, because I knew that they truly did not know me. They did not understand that my power was based on humility, and that my strength manifested itself in words filled with love and justice. These words were incomprehensible to many, and others felt it was impossible to practice what I had preached. 68. When they found out that Jesus had died on a cross like a criminal, they thought that his death would serve as a warning to his disciples and followers. They did not realize that his blood would help fertilize the seed that had been recently sown. 69. Those who had been skeptics developed faith. Those who believed in Jesus made sacrifices. And those who were oppressed found hope. The divine teachings of the Savior were heard everywhere, given by individuals who cried out for justice and love. Those who had faith became stronger. Thus, the teachings of Jesus spread in a manner that no human force was able to contain. 70. Those teachings were like a rapid current that flowed from city to city and from region to region, descending to valleys and ascending to mountains. There was not a single home, either a hut or a palace, that did not receive those teachings. They represented the river of life that had come to give water to the dry and barren fields. The teachings represented the loving justice of the Father who had come to purify the spirits of men and to judge their deeds. Once that current ceased to flow, a new and enlightened world emerged. Although the people were the same, a new humanity appeared on earth. 71. The doctrine of Jesus awoke humanity from its sleep. It helped men to progress spiritually and brought them closer toward that perfect being who you refer to as God and the Divine Father. That is why I now tell those of you who are materialistic and skeptical, do not ridicule and laugh when you listen to rumors that I have returned among mankind and that I have manifested myself through human spokesmen. Also, do not ridicule my new teachings and assume that it was impossible for God to reveal these teachings through human spokesmen. If you refuse to believe, you will be saddened when the teaching begins to flourish. Therefore, be ready to accept these teachings when they are brought before you. I assure you that they will only help you to cleanse your stains and to become virtuous. 72. I want you to learn to analyze the essence of this word, so that as you carefully study my teachings, you will gradually discover my truth. As you analyze them, you will realize that many of the past prophecies are now truly being fulfilled, including those prophecies that announce the coming of the Spirit of Truth. My peace be with you.